Welcome back to some new r/PettyRevenge stories, where people share small victories over those who wronged them. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Hide and Lock. I started my teaching career as an ESL teacher in Asia. Over the years I had the chance to work in some amazing places. However, the last place I worked at before moving on was by far the worst. Let's call it English Center. English Center had 3 branches, all owned by the same person. Unfortunately, the owner treated the business as a cash cow, prioritizing profit over everything else. Employees were overworked and underpaid, and I often had to threaten legal action just to get my paycheck on time. When I first started, I was contracted to teach 4 one-hour classes per day. Over time, this increased to 6 classes, along with minimal prep time. To make matters worse, I was expected to handle marking during my lunch breaks and work additional hours without proper compensation. On top of teaching, I was also forced to act as a center manager and deal with admin tasks. After the 4th time I was paid late, I'd had enough. I started looking for a new job, and within a short time, I found one at a better school. I began the process of renewing my visa, which took about 4 weeks. During this time, I didn't inform the owner of my plans to leave. As part of my role, I had admin access to the center's server, which contained everything: lesson plans, the syllabus, student progress reports, and monthly reports for parents. If those files disappeared, the entire operation would come to a halt. On my final day, the owner yelled at me over something trivial and assigned me an extra class, then demanded I work on my day off. That was the last straw. I considered deleting everything out of frustration, but instead I decided on a less drastic approach. I set a random password on the files, a combination of letters and symbols, and marked them as hidden. The files were still there, but they couldn't be accessed or seen, unless someone knew exactly what to do. After finishing that, I packed up my belongings and walked out into the morning sun, leaving that chapter of my life behind. A few hours later, the owner started calling me repeatedly. By then, I was relaxing on a beach with a cold drink in hand, enjoying my newfound freedom. I ignored the calls and moved on with my life. About a year later, I ran into someone who told me that the owner had been in complete panic mode. Parents were demanding to see their children's progress reports, but no one could locate the files. To make matters worse, several teachers had quit, and the center was forced to shut down. While I don't condone revenge, let's just say I don't lose any sleep over how that situation played out. The next story is called I Knew. At Whole Foods, I noticed someone parked in the red no parking zone, right in front of the doors. They were just sitting in the driver's seat, seemingly waiting for something. When I was leaving, their car was blocking the best way out, forcing me to go through the main corridor of the parking lot, which disrupted the flow of traffic. Since there was no easy way to maneuver around them, I decided to stop, grab my groceries, and leave my car directly in front of their door before heading to my car. Apparently, they didn't appreciate that, because they followed me to my car and tried to park in a way that would block me from leaving. However, they underestimated how well I know my car's dimensions. They left just enough space for me to reverse out, mere inches from their bumper. I carefully backed up and drove away without any issue. They seemed genuinely surprised, probably thinking I was going to hit them. Thankfully, I knew exactly what I was doing. The last story is called Dad. Last year for Christmas, my brother and I teamed up to buy a Nintendo Switch for our 2 young nephews, along with some accessories. To say they love it would be an understatement. They absolutely adore it. They are always excited to talk to their uncles about the games they are playing. And honestly, it warms my heart, because it reminds me of my brother and me growing up. We bonded so much over video games. One day though, as kids do, they were outside, bored, and had one of those not so great ideas. They picked up a rock and carved their names into the side of their dad's truck. Now, to be fair, It's not a fancy truck. It's mainly used for getting around the property. But understandably, the dad wasn't thrilled about it. He told me about it recently. And as he was ranting, I said, "You know, I made sure to put a screen protector on the switch we gave them." He looked at me confused. "So if someone were to write on it, it wouldn't actually damage the screen," I added. Fast forward to now, and the Nintendo Switch has "Dad" written in big bold letters across the screen. The kids were absolutely mortified. I'm sure their dad will leave it there for a couple of weeks, as a reminder before removing it, just to make sure they think twice before acting on another impulsive idea. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.